We're going to go back to 2020, COVID, a freaking chaotic mess, mandatory lockdowns, rights are being suspended, police departments were caught in the middle, and one man refused to follow an order. And you've probably seen the video of Greg Anderson. He's in his patrol car. He's a former U.S. Marshal, Army Ranger, and he worked for the Port of Seattle at the time. And his message to everyone was, maintain your integrity. So we're going to talk to my friend Greg Anderson today, Army Ranger, 14 deployments, U.S. Marshal, fired from the Port of Seattle for speaking his mind and maintaining his integrity. During that time, he also started a CrossFit gym, jiu-jitsu, and then a GoFundMe campaign helped keep him afloat there for a moment when all of a sudden the government said, hey, buddy, you're not employed because we don't like what you're saying.
Yep. The people rallied for me. It was appreciated.
It was amazing. Right after that, he launched the Endless Endeavor podcast. He's got a new book, Courage Through Adversity. And now he's going to row across the Pacific.
Yes, sir. Which I'm looking forward to getting into.
Absolutely. So moving past that viral moment and your radical self-reliance, today we're going to talk about like this undemocratic stuff we're seeing in Washington State, an explosion of this tax-fueled erosion of our freedoms, and exactly what the Endless Endeavor is, the book, your mindset, and that we can't be broken regardless of what the government is trying to do to us. Mm-hmm. So, Greg, give us the short version of your story. Like, how did this start?
I think 2020 is a great place to kind of start for the podcast. Obviously, I spent a lot of time in the Ranger Regiment. I did contract work for Department of State, a lot of deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And a normal transition for a lot of soldiers is to move into law enforcement. And that's what I did. I ended up working in Los Angeles as a deputy with the Marshal Service for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to work my way back home to the Pacific Northwest. I was born and raised here. And ultimately, that's why I left the Marshal Service. They didn't have the ability to transfer me up here. So I found a new position with the Port of Seattle Police Department. And I enjoyed that department.
Yeah.
I mean, law enforcement was never my true passion. It was never my calling. I always knew it was kind of a time and a space filler until the next thing. But with that said, if you're going to spend your time doing something, do it well. And I was a good police officer.
Yeah.
I was respected by my command and by my peers. And all that fell apart in 2020. Because as everybody remembers, you should remember. If you don't, it's time to refresh your memory, because this is something that was done against us. And we should never forget this. But we would be watching the television in the lunchroom and we would see other cops and they're arresting paddleboarders in Malibu.
Yeah.
They're arresting
Ridiculous.
moms at the park. They're pulling people over and checking for papers. Like, do you have your travel papers? And that happened to a friend of mine outside of Las Vegas. And I saw a lot more things starting to happen. And the biggest frustration with it was that a lot of police officers would say, I don't want to be doing this, but this is just my job.
Yeah.
Like, that gives them a free pass. Like, that exonerates them of responsibility. And every time I heard a police officer say that, it was infuriating, because it's like, we are the first line of defense between citizens and the government. We are there to protect and uphold and support the Constitution. That's literally what our oath. You raise your right hand and you swear in as a police officer to uphold both the United States Constitution and the Washington State Constitution. And then we were just watching people's constitutional rights be raked over the coals, and nobody was saying anything. And the tipping point for me is, I remember I was on patrol, and I stopped and I had a lunch break, and I watched a video of two young women in Texas. They had a nail salon out of the basement of their house. And undercover police officers went in there to say, hey, we want our nails done. And when they agreed, they arrested them.
Come on.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Yeah. And it wasn't thought out. It wasn't planned, contrary to what a lot of people say, that it was some big orchestrated thing against the government. No, it was just me being me, sharing my thoughts, sharing my emotions. And I just picked my phone up. I was like, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
As police officers, what are we doing? Like, our job is not to enforce mandates. In fact, we don't have legal authority to enforce mandates.
Yeah.
And I talk about that. If the governor or the mayor just arbitrarily says, I don't want that guy doing that anymore, go arrest him. Is it legislated? Is there an RCW? That's not how law works. When you arrest someone, there's a form, and it's like, first, what law did they break? Mm-hmm. And what is your probable cause that leads you to believe that specific law was broken by that specific person?
Yeah.
Very simple process. And none of that was happening. And so I said, guys, just because your mayor or your governor wants you to enforce certain mandates, we don't have legal authority for that. And additionally, you are violating people's constitutional rights in the meantime. You need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, is what I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And your paycheck does not supersede our citizens' constitutional rights. And it went super viral.
Like a rocket.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
My life changed overnight.
Yeah.
And I had Andy Stumpf and Andy Frisella and like these big podcasters reach out, come on my show, tell this story.
Yeah.
People need to hear you. And here's another thing that was just as frustrating as it could be was the fact that my chief said this to me. He said, Greg, he called me, he goes, listen,
Yeah.
everything you said on the video is technically correct, and I agree with you on its surface. The problem is our department is not allowed to share our personal opinions in uniform representing the department.
Makes sense.
That is a violation of policy. The video has to come down.
Yeah.
And I said, sir, with all due respect, if I can't stand up and say my job is to defend the United States Constitution, this uniform is no longer for me.
Yeah.
Greg, no, listen, you're being crazy, man. Like, you know, and then he started trying to like,
To back it up.
yeah, well, he's like, yeah, look, if you look at the views, it's already been seen. Like this time it was like 700,000 times or something.
Yeah.
He goes, your message is out there and there's no pulling it in. It's already been ripped. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's no pulling it in. But if you just simply delete your video from your feed, that shows that you're in compliance. And I was like, I don't know if I can use swear words on your podcast.
You can. This is the PG-13 episode,
Yeah,
so feel free.
No. But still, it was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's this big shell game.
Correct.
You agree with me. You know that what I said is constitutionally correct. You like me as a person. You like me as a police officer. But this person over here said we're not allowed to do that.
Yes.
And you know, I don't want to speak out of term necessarily because I don't know if this is factual. But word got back to me that the governor's office said, get that officer to pull that video now.
Of course.
That is
Because Washington State at the time was being wildly oppressive to people, and that wasn't part of Inslee's narrative or the
Yes.
narrative that was being pushed to everyone.
And if you watch the video, I mean, I lean to the right. I'm a conservative-minded person, but I didn't pull politics into it.
Oh,
I also
you
didn't
did a
pull.
great job.
I also didn't pull the validity of COVID because that was the big thing. It's going to kill everybody. No, it's a government conspiracy. Like, I didn't pull any of that in because it's a moot point.
Yeah.
Regardless of the validity of this, Constitution stands above that, and we're not allowed to violate that because we think this or we think that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
That was wild. These are the things that you don't hear on the news. These are the conversations mainstream media is not having because they're literally terrified to talk about it because they can't control the narrative and control the message. That's what we love about social media.
Yes.
Love about YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, follow along. P.S. We're going to drop all of Greg's links into the show notes, into the pinned comment, his book, his podcast, so you can follow along.
The government is afraid of two things. They're afraid of empowerment and they're afraid of unity. And that's been my mission ever since getting fired, is to help people. When the scariest thing for the U.S. government or the Washington state government is a state filled with people, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they say, I like that man.
Yes.
I'm impressed by that man.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. That doesn't mean you have to be rich or have a six-pack. That simply means you're on a path where you're better than you were yesterday and you're proud of yourself because of it. Because when people are proud of who they are, they're willing to stand up for what's right and they have pride and they're willing to push back. And the whole mission ever since then, that's kind of the foundation of it. And that's the foundation of the book, which I'm sure we're going to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back into this, the chain of command privately agreed with you. So how does a leader navigate that gap of internal conviction and your professional obligation to the bureaucracy, that is essentially losing its soul. What would you recommend for people who are feeling that they have this moral compass? They know it's pulling them in a certain direction, even if the bureaucracy is not allowing that.
Well, let's just call it what it is. It's being controlled by fear. And 99% of men's fears are financially based.
Yeah, true.
And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen men kick doors willing to get shot. Looking like fearless men, right? Yes. And some of those same men, when their paycheck's on the line, they're unwilling to push back and have a voice. And it's weird. Physical fear is actually easy for a lot of men.
Yeah.
Like fighting and operating and being a ranger. It's like, I don't know if easy is the right word, but I should say it's easy to commit to it. This is what we do. This is where we're at. This is the target. We're getting on the helicopters and we're going. And men were very, very capable of shelving fear in combat. And I saw it over and over and over. And then a lot of those same men, or maybe not those same individual men, but just men cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
When they say they're going to take your paycheck away, well, what am I going to do? Yeah. And it's because and this may sound gruesome if you haven't experienced combat, but the thought of death is just part of the game we're playing.
Of course.
That doesn't mean that we're not afraid of it or that we want to avoid it at all costs, but it's understood that, hey, if I get killed, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. We're
out here being Army Rangers, and a byproduct of that could potentially be my death. Where men struggle is the unknown. Like death is a known.
Yeah. Yeah.
The unknown, if I lose my job, I'm going to lose my house. I got part-time custody of my kids. What's this going to do for that? And it's like they start going down all these rabbit holes, and rightfully so, right? Because this is our life, and I get that. But I made a commitment to myself during this. It's like, hey, if I have to stand on my truth and it ends up causing me to starve to death in the woods, then so be it. Yeah. And I remember it's a very defining moment because my sergeant, who was an absolutely incredible human being, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, Greg, you got kids."
Yeah.
And I said, "You're right, I do have kids."
Yeah.
And I'm going to show my kids that money doesn't dictate my moral compass. And it's like, wow, that's it.
Amen.
And luck. Here's the thing, man. I also believe in universal alignment and energy and whatnot. I think the country rallied behind me. I mean, we made $450,000 in 48 hours.
Oh, from the GoFundMe.
From the GoFundMe.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that much.
Never, and tax-free because it's charitable donations.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, it's funny. A lot of people I got a lot of hate for the GoFundMe.
Of course.
Which is nuts, right? But it's public knowledge or public information. You can go back and look. It's not like some rich guy a couple rich guys gave me $200,000. 100,000 people gave me $4.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The majority of
yes.
And there were some bigger ones, obviously, but most of the donations were like, I like what this guy stands for. I saw I got fired. Here's $5. Here's $20.
Yeah.
And when that happens 100,000 times, it makes a massive impact on my life.
Massive, massive. Let's go there. So the GoFundMe made it, maybe easier, but what is the message if you have $0 in the bank? What if you're the man and you've got that level of fear? How do you power through that if you don't have? Because I get the events happen, but
yes. Well, I want to reiterate this too. I had no idea GoFundMe would exist when I drew the hard line and I said I will not take the video down.
Yes.
And so, because there were some people say he orchestrated this to get rich, and I always say if I was able to, first of all, create a viral video, because you don't know what's going to go viral, right? If I was smart enough,
and $400,000 is not rich.
Yeah, I felt rich at the time, but I was fairly responsible with it. But no, I drew the hard line, and then people saw that, and then I got fired as a result, and then they wanted to help me.
Bingo.
And so that's how that all transpired.
Because it spoke to people. So I didn't know you, Greg. I saw the video, but I was connected by a couple other, jiu-jitsu people who knew you.
Yeah.
And they literally sent me the video, and I go, Yes, amen. And I said thank you to him and her for sending that to me. And then I was like, oh, there's a GoFundMe. And I literally opened, and I was like, donate. Someone's got to support.
Wow,
And
thank you.
Well, I'm not bringing that up for that.
I know,
what I'm
you're
bringing it
not.
up for specifically
Is
was
it how it resonated with people.
bingo. There was an
Yes.
emotional message because the government was telling me, you can't do X. And there was a lot of X's I couldn't do. And my business was also being attacked at the time in real estate. They're like, you can't even show homes. Don't do anything. Just sit there. And so,
Well, and here's the problem. The government doesn't create anything.
bingo.
They're not creators. And insert anything, art, music, infrastructure, like they don't create anything. All of their job is to collect taxes and allocate resources to the
Yes.
people that do build, the people that do create. And somewhere in that process, they have somehow thought they are now in charge.
Yeah.
That's never been the foundation of any branch of the U.S. government. You're in charge of us. No, you're basically a steward of our money
Correct.
to help our society move in the right direction.
For the people.
Yes, it's not your money.
Yeah.
And the government is completely out of control right now. And if you don't think they are, you're not being honest with yourself. You're not living in reality.
Yeah.
I mean, when you add up all of the taxes that we're paying well over 50%.
Yeah.
And so if 50% of your time, your energy, your creativity, all the life force that builds everything that humanity appreciates, if 50% of that gets stolen by the government, well, that by definition, we are not a free people.
Yeah.
And so what do we do about that? And I mean, we could have a 5-hour conversation about that.
No, one of the things, or one of the reasons I would even say that I wanted to have this discussion is Greg has pushed back against the machine here in Washington State. And then you live here. You are outspoken about people's rights, about the Constitution, about where people's integrity should be, and you're a small business owner, specifically, in Snohomish County, in Lake Stevens, where you have a CrossFit gym and a jiu-jitsu gym. And so some of the things we're going to get into that's been really resonating with our audience lately is this idea that Washington State itself is kind of sitting in a crisis. It's sitting at a precipice,
Yes.
like on the edge of the cliff. And the politicians are throwing the anvils at us like Looney Tunes, and we're trying to catch them all and not fall over the edge of the cliff. So let's talk about the endless endeavor then of writing checks to the government, because you just mentioned that. And we keep reading about the Californification of Washington, high taxes, declining services, bureaucracy that's out of control. And you recently said that Washington is following California like a bunch of cute little ducks down the road to ruin. And for the people that haven't noticed, that's specifically because of cultural rot. Tell me more about what you're thinking.
Wait,
there.
where did you find that from?
It was you had said it in some sort of a podcast or something. I was listening through.
Oh,
things.
really?
Yeah.
Well, I've done probably 1,000 podcasts.
Yes, yeah.
So it's hard to know what I've said and keep track of everything. But I just think like once you break out of the matrix, and I mean I was in the matrix for 20 years,
Yeah.
in the military and in law enforcement, and then once you start to see the system for what it is, you realize the system isn't built around empowering our citizens, keeping them safe, educating them. The system is about keeping a small group of people in positions of power.
Yeah.
And then they just kick that can down the road as far as they can so they can just maintain power for as long as they can. And sooner or later, we have to look at what's taking place and realize this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
A perfect example is that we put more money towards education, like even the new millionaires tax.
Yeah.
Well, education, free lunches. Like they kept bringing up free lunches. Well, free lunches are nowhere even in the bill, right?
Yeah.
But that's a moot point. My point is this. They want to continuously push more of our money towards education, but test scores continue to decline. So we are we have a system where it's hemorrhaging more and more money, and the end result is declining.
We're spending more for a worse result.
Yes, that is not sustainable.
No.
And I'm not sorry, I almost dropped an F-bomb. I'm not the most like competent businessman on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I can just look at that and be like, okay, we're giving more, but we're getting less.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it's working. We're giving more and getting less in every aspect. Our infrastructure.
Infrastructure's falling apart.
Our law enforcement.
Yeah.
Our schools. Everything is falling apart. I heard, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard it on the internet, so it must be. I heard that the assessment of the US-2 trestle,
Yeah.
just the assessment of it a few years back cost more money than they actually spent to build it.
That doesn't surprise me. So one of the things we do for our subscribers is I love talking about real estate, economy, Washington State
Yes.
policy. And when you go through and look at these things, Washington State has a habit of consistently overspending on studies.
Yes.
For example, down there where we have to cross the Columbia River into Oregon, we have spent, and the number is astounding, it's something like $5 or $8 million studying how to build a bridge over the water because the old bridge is falling apart.
Well, if the old bridge was built, then there's someone out there that knows how to build bridges.
Bingo.
And maybe you just hire him again.
Bingo.
Like, there's engineers. Like, what are we doing? Well, we know what we're doing. It's a money laundering scheme. We could talk about the money laundering in Washington State for the next hour, and I do want to talk about it because once I stepped outside of law enforcement and put all of my eggs into entrepreneurship, the stuff I'm dealing with with the county
Yeah.
will make you pull your hair out.
Yeah.
Or it'll make people disappear. Like it's egregious and it's a money laundering scheme. It's what it is.
Yeah. Well, let's go there for a second.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean,
and it's on my
so-
question list.
So this is money laundering scheme number one
yeah.
that the county admitted, right? And I'll tell you the story. I'm building my first gym. This is back in 2011. It's a 3,000 square foot footprint.
Yeah.
Some assessor came out and said, Greg, we've determined your land is a wetland. I said, okay, well, I mow it with my Craftsman riding lawnmower and it's just grass.
Yeah.
Please tell me how this is a bog, a marsh, a swamp, because I did all my research, right?
Yeah.
And they said any ground that stays saturated 60% of the growing season is considered wetland. Well, that's the most convoluted statement I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I said, well, what did you assess that made you say my property is a wetland? We found a buttercup flowers growing, and that's a wetland plant. So this has been deemed wetland.
Yes.
We're in Washington.
Yeah.
There's buttercups everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
It's the evergreen state.
So they said, this is what they said. And I'm sure you're familiar with this.
Yes, sir.
They said, Greg, if you want to destroy 3,000 square feet of wetland, you have to buy 3,000 square feet of wetland from the Wetland Offset Bank.
Yeah.
And then the county will make sure that it maintains preservation. And you get to destroy your wetland, and then this wetland gets preserved. So it offsets the destruction of your wetland. And Anton, I swear, this was verbatim because I was a deputy U.S. Marshal at the time doing casework with the FBI all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, maybe I'm not intelligent enough to understand your system. But from what I understand, I have a wetland we're going to destroy. You have an area of wetland that you're going to preserve. I pay you money.
Yes.
Now I can destroy this wetland. I said that I don't understand how that's preservation. What it sounds like to me is extortion.
Yes.
And I am a federal agent, and I work extortion cases with the FBI on a regular basis.
Okay.
Now, the truth to that is, as a marshal, I was more in charge of the custody of the defendant that the FBI was bringing to court. But still, I sat through those court proceedings. I was very familiar with how that system worked. And I said, based on what I'm seeing here, I will be talking to my FBI counterparts, and we will be looking at Snohomish County for an extortion case.
Yeah.
I got a call in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it was the same girl. She goes, hey, I just talked to my supervisor about everything we talked about. And she said, waive all wetland offset fees for your project.
Magic.
That's an admission of guilt, bro.
Yeah.
People should be strung up for that.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds dramatic. Oh, yeah, you want to kill? No. If you want to steal from our citizens that are trying to create, there needs to be some kind of punishment for that.
Yeah.
Like, they're stifling growth and they're stifling creativity, and that's what this nation is founded on.
Bingo.
And you want to take a guy who's trying to build, and here's the thing. I remember in one meeting they said, well, Greg, what if we just let you build a Costco in your backyard? I said, I didn't build a Costco. I built a 3,000 square feet martial arts facility.
Yeah.
Like, stop throwing these what ifs at me, right? And so I didn't build a strip club or a weed shop, or like, I can understand how certain things.
You did something that actually served the public good, that creates community, that creates a tribe, that creates connection and stickiness for local people.
Yes. And so we get it up and running and no issues. And we got our business and we got we did everything by the book. We've been paying B&O tax for the better part of 15 years now. And then, as you're aware, a couple years ago, it's like, hey, Greg, you're getting too big. And now we're in the same fight with all the same shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have to do an assessment of your parking structure to make sure that a fire engine can drive on it, can support the weight of an engine. That's an important requirement for businesses. Drive a fire engine out. How hard is that?
Yeah.
No, it's this big convoluted thing. Do you know what a parking lot assessment cost me? That took, I think, 48 hours.
20 grand?
37 grand.
Yeah.
Tell me where in the private sector a guy coming out and hanging a camera. He hung a camera on my pole.
Yeah.
They counted how many clients I have over, I think, a 48-hour period.
Yeah.
And then they said, you owe us 37 grand. I told Jenny, I'm ready to put my body on my and say, fuck you, come and get me.
Yeah.
That's what men will need to do at some point.
Yeah.
And Jenny's like, no, we're at a time in our life where we're finally making money. Can we just play the game a little bit and put all of this in the rearview mirror? I said, fine.
Yeah.
I'm going hands off then.
Yeah.
Because if someone comes out here and asks me for a $37,000 check because they came out here and counted cars, I'm going to knock every tooth out of their face.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they deserve, Anton.
Yeah.
They deserve physical violence. I have 3 small children that I'm feeding.
Yes.
And this is my legacy I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
And you want to take $37,000 from me because you wanted to count how many cars? And then it's maddening.
Yeah.
Do you know what the next thing they said to me after this?
Oh, I know what the next thing is.
Well, Greg,
the listeners don't, though.
Greg, we determined that this many cars come on your property and this many cars can park on your property, and you have an improper car to shrubbery ratio. What? Anton, I killed men in the Middle East for this government for 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
And now I just want to come home and teach kids martial arts. And I have an improper parking stall to shrubbery ratio.
Yeah.
And they said, you have to hire
a landscape architect.
A landscape architect.
Yep.
And you have to determine where all the rhododendrons and pyramidalis trees are going to go. And it's going to cost me like another $20,000.
Yes.
Because they want trees. Go to my lot and see. It's surrounded by trees. It's on 4 acres. We have 2 big fields.
Yeah.
But regardless if I have all gravel or if I have plants or pyramidalis trees or rhododendrons, we're so far, the government is so far out of control that they get to tell you how many rhododendrons you plant, or they take your business license. And I'm here to tell you, this is not a threat. This is a factual statement. If you take my business license because the rhododendron ratio is wrong, we will have a fucking problem you are not ready for. I promise you.
Yes.
And that's the truth. And I will fucking die for that. And this is why, Anton, they send men to war to die for all their bullshit for decades and decades and decades. It's the perpetual war machine. And then they come home and they hold us hostage against our own business of thriving by building our own business. And if you don't do this, and if you don't do that, you don't do this, we're going to shut your business down.
Yeah.
If my business gets shut down because of my rhododendron ratio, that is my livelihood. That's how I feed my family.
Yeah.
And so, like, men need to stand up to these people and stop being afraid of them and say, hey, I'm right here. Do something about it.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for it. And Jenny's been trying to calm me down, but I'm ready for it.
No, I get it.
You want to try and take my livelihood? I'll show you what taking livelihood looks like. And it's not me being out of control. What I want to do is teach jujitsu. And here's the thing, Anton, I pay my taxes.
Yeah.
I've never missed a tax payment.
Yeah.
The government's been getting their piece of the pie for my business since its inception.
And when did they attack your business and say, oh, by the way, even though we agreed to allow this here, you're in the wrong zoning because someone's complaining. So now we need you to close the business down. When did that process
let me make that very clear.
Yeah.
We've never had a complaint against our business.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Not one.
Then how did the
Check
conditional...
this. Can I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna say the guy's name on the air. A real piece of shit, though. Code enforcement cannot take action without a citizen complaint.
Yeah.
That's the law. So a code enforcement officer,
Okay. I see how
a
this happened.
code enforcement officer
Yeah.
happened to be by my property on an unrelated assessment and saw that there was too many cars parked on my property.
Got it.
So because he wasn't out there for that specific purpose, he went to his, I know everybody.
Yeah.
Like I have inside sources on everybody. He went to his supervisor
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, I know I'm a code enforcement officer and I can't make a complaint, but because I saw it and I wasn't on official duty, I would like to make a complaint as a civilian, then we can launch the investigation against him." Can we do that
Oh
as
my
code
goodness,
enforcement
come
officers?
on.
And the fucking supervisor said yes.
Yeah.
They launched their own complaint against me. So then I go and have this meeting, and we're sitting around this big table, and they said,
Jeez.
"Well, Greg, unfortunately, this was brought up to us through an anonymous complaint,
Yeah.
and we have to look into it. We have to open an investigation." I said, "Stop fucking lying to me. It wasn't an anonymous complaint. The man's name was this. I know the whole story. I even know you had to give him supervisor approval because this violates policy. How many more fucking lies do you want to tell me?"
Yeah.
And Jenny's like, "Ooh," right?
Calm down, Greg.
And you could just see they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And that's what these people are. They are criminals.
Yeah.
They are mobsters.
Yeah.
And if they think they're going to deprive me of my livelihood,
Yeah.
okay, two can play that game and you will not win.
And so is that solved now?
No.
So
Anton,
that's going on 2 years.
I can't even begin
Yeah.
to articulate the level of incompetence in any and all government agencies. And I've seen it play out over and over and over. All right, Greg, we're going to need you to, let's just play the game and get this out of the way, all right? So we're going to need you to have this assessment and that assessment, and it needs to be done by August and all this shit, right?
Yeah. And then
August comes.
All the while they're throwing money in the middle of a table and just lighting it on fire.
And then it gets close to August and they'll be like, "Actually, you know what? Let's push the deadline to January. We got to do this. We got to do that." They've just continuously pushed the date 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. I think it's going on like 3 times.
Yeah.
And I told Jenny, like, when you're done playing this game, all you have to do is tell me.
Yeah.
I will burn this thing to the ground publicly. And they're afraid of that.
Yeah.
They even told me they're afraid of that because I have a huge social media. I have a big following.
Yeah.
And when I talk about it publicly, they catch some shit. Yeah. Well, you haven't done what you said you're going to do, so I'm going to start talking about it fucking publicly again. And if you don't like it, that's their problem.
Yeah.
Now you're getting me fired up, dude.
No.
Men should get fired up. These
Bingo.
people are stealing from us.
You have to push back. And if you don't push back, everyone keeps taking an inch, and an inch turns into a mile.
This is what I want to ask Bob Ferguson. At what point, what percentage of income tax,
Yeah.
just give me the number, 0 to 100%, at what percent do you think men should take an armed revolution, an armed resistance against the government?
Yeah.
What percentage is that? Because he can't answer that question. He couldn't answer that question. He couldn't say, "You know what? If we get to 96%, it's probably time for strong men to take this country back." He can't say that because that's empowering to men taking this country back. Because the answer in these people's minds is 100%.
Yeah.
They want to take everything we are.
Yeah.
They want to ride off of our coattails, and they want us to be their money train, so they get to ride off into the sunset. So what is that percentage? Between 1 and 100, how much money should the government be able to take from you before you put your body armor on and grab your and say, "You're not taking anything else from me. I'm done with this strong-armed robbery, mobster tactics," and it's what it is. It's what it is. That's not my opinion. It's what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't give us more money, we're going to shut your business down. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Ultimately, if you don't pay them what they tell you to pay them, they will put you in a cage.
100%.
I ain't going in a cage.
Yeah.
And it's not tough guy talk.
Yeah.
I've been in enough combat scenarios to know
Yeah.
that I am not afraid of dealing with intimate and dangerous combat. And it's what it's going to take, Anton. I don't mean to be like the doomsday, like Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
But until men stand up, and here's the thing, it won't take armed conflict if enough of us just say, you're not in charge, we're in charge.
Say enough is enough.
We're not paying you anymore.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, do something about it.
Yeah. Let's flip back to the millionaire tax real quick, because the unconstitutionality of it for Washington State.
And it's illegal.
It's illegal. Little debate. No public involvement.
No, of course not.
And how do you interpret a leadership class that seemingly fears? They seem to fear the direct involvement of the people, because what they did with this one is they prevented the referendum. They limited testimony. It's unconstitutional based on Washington State's constitution that your income is your property. It must be uniform. You can't go above 1%. But what is this leadership saying or doing when they're saying we don't want the people involved?
The leadership is saying and doing, we've completely gone rogue.
Yeah.
We no longer have to kind of tiptoe in the shadows and pretend that we're going to put our boots on your neck. We're big enough and confident enough now that we're just going to put our boots on your neck because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to allow the public to have an opinion or voice their concerns.
Yeah.
And they call it the millionaire tax because that sounds good, right?
Yes.
But they wouldn't add the legislation that it absolutely cannot drop below
Bingo.
$1 million.
They would not put in writing that
they would
it
not do
won't
it.
go below $1 million.
It doesn't take rocket surgery to put that together.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I mean, here it is, dude. That's the RCW.
Yeah, no.
When I was a police officer, if someone violated an RCW, I put them in handcuffs.
Yes. And Greg
RCW
is,
190100, personal income tax prohibition.
just the name of it.
Why hasn't a sheriff went into the Capitol and put these people in handcuffs? It's a literal crime. This isn't me with a tinfoil hat being, he's a radical right-wing wacko. That's the
RCW.
The RCW.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. This is their laws, not mine. I didn't legislate this. You guys did.
That's why, though, and I forget which one it is, but the bill that they passed because of the sheriff down there in Pierce County.
Oh, that now they can remove sheriffs if they want to.
Because they don't want the RCW to be upheld.
And you know what Keith Swank said? Come and remove me.
Yeah, come and get me. Yeah, he totally did.
I would like to see how you guys deal with. Didn't he say like I got 1,000 guys with guns come and get me?
I don't know.
No, it was very inflammatory, and I was like, finally someone that'll say what we're all thinking. Yeah. Why are we afraid of these guys?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Why are we afraid of these guys? Why is anybody afraid of Jay Inslee or Bob Ferguson? Bob Ferguson is about 5'6", 130 pounds, and he gets thrown through a wall in 10 seconds. You can't say that about the government. And come and fucking do something about it, dude. I dare you. You know what I mean? Like, they're the weakest men in our society.
Yes.
They've never created. They've never built. Like, look at what you're doing. What you showed me the other month. You're like, you are putting all of your life force and energy into creating and building, following your passion.
Yes.
These people are leeches.
Yes.
That have worked their way into position to just leech more and more and more and more. And I'm telling you, there will be a change in our lifetime. There will be a change.
Well, there has to be a change because we've hit that, if you can just remember elementary school math, and you look at elementary school math and you go, wait a second, population is up since 2013, like 17%. Inflation's up 47%, and spending's up 120.
Yeah.
And you
make that make sense.
120 is much bigger than the population or the inflation. Oh, and 120 outpaces the revenue collected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like...
Not sustainable.
We're living in the crazy. I mean, every man throughout history probably said we're living in the craziest times.
Bingo.
And I get that. And I also I'm not a delusional person. I also understand when it comes to worldwide poverty, you and I are sitting as some of the richest men in history.
We are the richest country in the world and the most blessed.
And
we
we're the
take it for
safest. We're the
granted.
safest we've ever been.
Yes.
And I get that we are blessed. I have a lot of gratitude for that. Like I sit here, I get frustrated because of very specific topics. It's not lost on me how great we have it.
Yes.
But that's also a reason why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, Anton, if men like us don't stand up and push back, I mean, I have 3 young daughters.
Yeah.
Where are they going to be in 30 years?
Yeah.
Once I'm an 80-year-old man or gone and not capable of being someone to have a voice, to draw hard lines in the sand, to stand up for what's right. My biggest fear in life is to look at myself in the mirror when I'm 75 years old and be like, well, now you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you didn't when you should have.
And if we don't push back against the taking, your daughters, my 2 boys and my daughter, won't have the opportunity to start a family,
100%.
get a good job, buy a house, have a dog, have a yard
Yeah.
where their kids can play in, not a townhome, not an apartment,
Not a 15-minute city.
not a condo, not getting on the light rail that's just burning capital like crazy, a place where
That
they
we
can
also a
raise a
thing we
family.
didn't want.
Yeah. I know. We're going to go down that. So let me ask you another question. Is there a moment where you stop fighting the endless endeavor in Washington State where you're like, you know what, you guys are a lost cause?
If I'm being completely honest, my big row is part of that.
Tell me more.
I want to detach from the lunacy that is the society that we live in.
Yeah.
And I want to pursue myself.
Yeah.
I want to find myself. I want to challenge myself spiritually and emotionally. Obviously, it's physical as well. I think odysseys for men to go out there and pursue extremely difficult and dangerous tasks is something that's hardwired in our DNA. And I think when you don't do that, you're missing out on part of what the experience of being a man is.
Yeah.
And I got to do a lot of that. War was a lot of that for me. I mean, full disclosure, I look back on the war and just think it was a big scam and we were fighting for Israel. But that's another podcast.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm not proud of it because I only knew what I knew at the time, and hindsight's 20/20, right? What I do know about myself is that I went out there and it was hard and it was difficult and it was dangerous, and I was proud of how I showed up.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do things so we feel proud of how we show up. That's why I climb Mount Rainier every once in a while. Like jiu-jitsu is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Like the journey of jiu-jitsu has been a huge part of helping me grow as a person. And then I took and I don't want to like say that, like my kids made me no longer prioritize myself, but there's a certain element of that that's truth.
And there has to be.
There has to be.
For you to raise a beautiful next generation, you have to give up some of self and hand it off.
And I think that it is very dangerous because I think a lot of men give all of self. And it's because they think it's honorable, right? You are no longer your priority. As long as my kids are safe and they have food and they're in a warm bed, I'm winning as a man. And I'm not here to discredit that or diminish that, but it can't be at the cost of your spirit. And if you give everything and you're burning the candle at both ends and your body's filled with cortisol, you're not sleeping well, it starts to affect your relationships with other people, your relationships with yourself. It starts to reflect in your physical body. You're carrying fat. You're feeling weaker. You're feeling sicker. When men don't prioritize themselves because they think they're giving everything to their family, I think if you stay on that path too long, the long term is actually a detrimental effect to your family.
Yeah, because you haven't set an example. You haven't given them a role model to look after.
And so one of my ethos, because my podcast and my book, it's very geared towards men, right? Women can find power in it too because a lot of our lessons overlap, but men and women are different creatures, right? I think one of the biggest downfalls in our society is when men stop prioritizing themselves. You need to have good friends. You need to spend time with other good men. You need to prioritize your health and your fitness and moving your body. You need to pursue your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, not just go punch the clock at Boeing every night, right? And I get it. I've punched a clock for a big portion of my life too. I would never diminish that or act like somebody that's doing that, like you got it all wrong. But you have to figure out a way to, while you do that, incorporate things that feed your soul, your spirit, and make sure that you're becoming the person you truly want to be. And you already said it. Then you're showing your kids that.
Amen.
And so I watched a team of guys row a boat from New York to London last summer.
Yes.
They had a Starlink on the boat.
Yes.
And so they would upload a little video every day, and that, like, lessons learned, hardships, the joy in it, like all the emotions are out there, and they're experiencing it with a brotherhood. Yeah. And I was just like, I'd see them every day, and I was like, wow. Yeah. And one of the things I try and do is, like, if something feels inspiring or it calls to me, I want to step into that myself. I don't want to outsource my joy. Ooh. And I think a lot of people do that. And a lot of your listeners are gonna hate this, but I think the Seattle Seahawks are outsourcing your joy.
Ooh.
You know,
I hear you though.
And here's the thing: I watch the UFC sometimes because I'm an avid martial artist, and I enjoy watching the best martial artists in the world, right? And if your passion is football and you love watching the best men, the strategy, the athleticism, I get all that, right? Yeah. But don't give other men so much of you that you're just sitting on the couch drinking beer, watching them pursue their goals.
Isn't that the old Roman Empire controlling the
bread
populace?
And circus. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And so again, if you like watching football, great. But don't do it to where it's like, hey, man, I should probably go work out today. Yeah, but there's a game on at this time. Now you're diminishing yourself to watch other men that are reaching the pinnacle of their goals. Yeah. And I watch these guys, and I'm the first to admit, man, just because I feel like I have a good understanding of a lot of these aspects of life, I still struggle with them.
We all do.
I'm not a guru. Yes. I don't have it all figured out. Yes. And you want to know one of the things that I still struggle with is scrolling, doom scrolling. Yeah. I'll check my screen time and it's like, dude, you were on Instagram for 2 hours today. Yeah. I'm outsourcing my joy. I'm in the battle with you guys. Yes. Like that, and I'm very open about it in the book. Yeah. And so when I saw these guys doing that, it just clicked. I was like, oh, you're outsourcing your joy to these men. I said, if you're so fascinated by what they're doing, you go do it. Yeah. Yeah. And I just had it was just okay. So I'll go do it. So the Great Row, explain exactly what it is that you're going to do. So it's funny because I hit these guys up. Yeah. And we're talking back and forth, and I was like, hey, I saw you guys row from New York to London. Very inspirational. Yeah. So I bought a similar boat as you guys. Yeah. And I'm gonna do it. I'm a West Coast guy though, so I'm gonna go from Washington State to Hawaii. Yeah. And we leave in 40 days. 40 days. It's getting real. Yeah. Yeah. And so we say who's the crew? It's myself, my friend Joshua Dukes, who lives in Maui. So we're basically rowing from my house to his house. That's epic. Yeah, that's epic. And bro, it's so good having a guy like him on the boat because he's an avid spear fisherman, 5-minute breath hold. Yeah. He can dive down 100 feet. He's one of those guys, right? And a lifelong firefighter too. And got fired for not taking the vaccine. Oh, wow. So that's how we got connected. Yes. We got connected because we both got fired from being first responders for standing in our truth. And he's become one of my best friends. Yeah. And then one of my coaches at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, Will Notel, so I'm sure you know because he works with the Novaks regularly. And then a good friend of mine who lives out in Wisconsin, his name's Johnny Martinez, young stud, ultra runner, does like 50-mile races and stuff. And he told me I'm terrified of the ocean. Oh, that's awesome. So he's conquering a fear. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And bro, when I texted him and said, hey, just going to throw this out there. Yeah. It's a weird story. Part of wanting to conquer his fear of water is he was online planning a Mississippi row from the Great Lakes. Oh, wow. To the Gulf of Mexico. Perfect. It's the Gulf of America now. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. And he goes, bro, I was literally like already of the mindset, like I want to conquer my fear of water and I want to do this preposterous expedition on the water. Yes. He goes, I was literally looking at it when the text came through. It was like divine intervention. Amen. And he just texts back and goes 100% in. Yeah. Instantly. So the four of you. Yep. And you got a Starlink then? Yes, we will. You're going to get a Starlink. You're going to get a camera. We'll have Starlink. We'll have everything, a bunch of cameras. We'll have something called a YB tracker, which gives you a website, and it shows where you're at in real time. That's awesome. 24/7. And so are you guys going to upload videos? So this is the goal. Yeah. This is the we had the whole team flew in 2 weeks ago, and we did some training, and we sat down and we discussed some things, and then they're actually getting here Friday for round 2 of training.
Yeah.
The team ethos is we will upload to share our story with the world, but we will not interact.
Amen.
We will not be looking at comments.
Yes.
We will not be scrolling anything.
Yes.
The only connection we're going to have with the world is we upload.
Yes.
So we share the journey, and then Will's also going to capture all of it on like high quality video.
Yeah.
And he wants to do a documentary. And then via sat phone, we will text our wives and our kids.
Amen.
And that's it.
So you're gonna be there. You're gonna be in the moment. You're gonna be men. You're gonna be on an epic journey, a
Yes.
freaking odyssey,
Odyssey.
conquering fear,
Yes.
overcoming challenge,
Yep.
rowing from Washington State.
And it's supposed to take
Hawaii.
60 days, plus or minus. and dude, the cabin I sleep in is half the size of this table. You know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's wild. Man.
Yeah.
For your listeners, the boat is called a Ronick 45 ocean rowing vessel. And you want to Google that and look at it. They're fascinating.
Yeah, we'll put that into the show notes
Hey,
too.
but check this out. Do you know where ocean rowing vessels are built?
No.
London.
Why?
That's where they're at.
Oh.
For whatever reason,
Yeah.
London is big into expedition, like Europe in general.
Yeah.
But UK is where it's actually Essex is where the boats are built.
Yeah.
I got hit with a $12,000 tariff when my boat got here.
Oh wow.
$12,000, and it said pleasure craft. I said, hey, you want to steal my money? Steal my money. But let's call a spade a spade. This is not a pleasure craft.
No, this is going to be pain.
It's a pain craft, right?
This is the pain machine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I think I haven't went and done something that's just absolutely ridiculous and really pushed me to my brink. And the truth is, I've done very, very difficult things. I've done mountaineering. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. But becoming a black belt in jiu-jitsu is a really tough hour
Yeah.
stacked up over 2 decades.
Yeah.
And don't get me, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's very different than immersing yourself in basically 24/7 struggle for 2 months. And so it's something that I've never experienced. I've always been fascinated by like Cam Hanes, David Goggins, the guys that can go, our friend Jeremy Newsom, the guys that go run 200 miles or whatever it is, right? Because it takes a level of being able to shelve pain
Yes.
and push through and persevere.
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by those guys. And it was 2019. I was like, all right, I've been fascinated by those guys. So in my ethos, I have to become one of those guys. And I signed up for a 50 miler. That was my first ultra.
Yeah.
And I was running and I was running and I was running. And have you read Goggins' book?
Yeah.
It's called Can't Hurt Me. And so
And you're like, it hurts.
well, my knee started hurting. And my initial thoughts were, you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it got to the point where I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And I went and had an MRI, and the doctor said, you're near bone on bone. You have no cartilage in your left knee.
Yeah.
You will never be a runner.
Yeah.
And to this day, there's a part of me that's like, I'm going to figure out a way.
Yeah.
Right? But the truth of it is, my knees cannot handle ultras.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, well, what about a rowing ultra?
Yeah.
And bro, I got on an erg,
Yes.
and I rode a literal marathon, 26.2 miles on that thing. Yeah. And I felt great. I shouldn't say I felt great. Like my muscles were tight and I was tired, but no pain, like skeletal pain. I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because the rower is not impact.
Yes.
And so bro, it's going down.
So for the people in the audience, our subscribers that have they've never known conflict and they live in their suburban bubbles. Maybe they have a little bit of a cubicle mindset. What's a practical step that they can take to start their endurance journey, to start their endless endeavor?
I have the best tool on planet Earth,
Yeah.
and it's called jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I know people think jiu-jitsu is culty, and in its foundation, jiu-jitsu is a martial art to defend yourself. I understand that, and it works too. When I was a police officer, there's plenty of times when I used jiu-jitsu, and it was like, oh, this person feels like a little baby.
Yeah.
And it's a combination. Obviously, it's your physicality, but it's your angles, it's your understanding, it's your timing, it's your pressure. But the reason jiu-jitsu is a superpower is because I always tell people, jiu-jitsu doesn't show you who you are.
Yeah.
It shows you who you aren't.
Yeah.
Most men have a misconception of well, if I had to, I could do this or I could do that. And it's a fallacy. It's not a truth. And when you go to a jiu-jitsu academy, like anyone listening, come to my jiu-jitsu academy tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and I'll have a 14-year-old boy do whatever he wants to you, and you will not be able to stop him. And if you prove me wrong, I'll give you $1,000. Like, that's reality. When you understand how to fight and another person doesn't, there's no contest.
Correct.
Right? And so you go to the gym for the first day and you have this 15-year-old or 14-year-old do whatever he wants to you. Men have one of two reactions. They say, I never want to feel that again, or that can't happen again.
Yeah.
I have to get better. And the journey of jiu-jitsu is, like I said, it's incremental. It's a very slow journey. It's hard to get good. It takes a long commitment. And when you show up and you put in work and you're around the same people that are good, motivated people trying to be better, what you will find is it becomes the most empowering journey of your entire life.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu has built me into a better human being than ever anything I experienced as a ranger, as a police officer, because it's real. It's real. We always say the mats don't lie. Like, you get 20 men together in a group, and it's a mastermind or it's a dinner, right? Some guys are posturing. Some guys are embellishing their number. I did this much in sales.
Always.
Like, men are always in this low-key competition with each other. And in jiu-jitsu, there's nothing low-key about it. We're going to see how we stack up. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And here's the interesting thing about it, Anton. Nobody really cares who the winner and the loser is.
Yeah.
It's just simply, okay, I know where I stack up. I know where I fit in with all these men.
And guess what? That's normal.
And it feels
And that's
good.
life. It's okay.
I always say, man, jiu-jitsu gives you a natural pecking order that feels good. And when I sit on the mats, it's like, okay, well, Joao does whatever he wants to me.
Yeah.
Jordan is one of my toughest roles in the gym.
Yeah.
I typically beat this guy. I got to be careful of this guy here because if he gets on my legs, he has some weird tricks.
Yeah.
This guy has better cardio than me. This guy's stronger than me. I'm stronger than this guy. And all the bullshit just goes whoosh.
And there's no participation trophy.
None. Yeah. And bro, we strangle each other for an hour and a half. And then afterwards, it's a brotherhood. And I keep referencing men and brotherhood. It's a sisterhood too. We have a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And I actually take a lot of pride having women in our facility because we're there to empower women just as much as we're there to empower men. And I actually think it's a different energy empowering women. And it's a great thing for us to do too. I talk about it all the time with the team. Men and women are not the same. We have to understand our strengths, and we have to bring them up and we have to empower them. So when they step outside of this facility, they don't have fear in their hearts. I know I'm going on kind of a tangent.
No, I love it.
The last thing to say that's very important is that fear that a lot of people have, and you might not even know that you have it, right? But the timidity and just you're just, a lot of people, they keep themselves small.
Yes.
And when you do something like jiu-jitsu and you become empowered and you're like, oh, I can do this.
Yes.
You sit different. Your aura is different. And I tell my girls all the time, jiu-jitsu is not going to save you because a guy in the Walmart parking lot grabs you and you put him in a chokehold and put him out. That's what's going to how jiu-jitsu is going to save you. They're going to watch how you're walking to your car and they're going to say, she's not the one.
Yeah, and they're just going to ignore you.
The
power,
predator,
the presence.
The predator seeks the weakest link.
Yes.
And when you make sure that you are no longer the weakest link, the predator will not prey on you.
Yeah. Now, closing out the jiu-jitsu thing, what would you say is like the most significant lesson you've learned from a brand new person, a white belt in the last 12 months? What did you learn?
Oh man, I've learned the same lesson from white belts over and over and over.
Oh.
And it's my favorite lesson to see. And it is the shift in themselves where they realize I can do this. And as soon as the mindset is shifted from like nervous energy or uncertainty, I mean, I see men like sit like this sometimes after practice when they're new, because they're just like, what did I just experience?
Yeah.
And when you're shown what you're not, that usually comes with a little bit of an internal struggle.
Of course.
But once you commit to it and you show up And when that magical moment happens, when it's like click, and you'll see it in a moment in people, and they realize like, oh, I can do this. What you see is it's not just, oh, I can do jiu-jitsu now. It's I can take charge of myself. And you see their physicality changes, the way they carry themselves changes, the way they speak to you. I've seen a lot of people that are very timid and they're withdrawn. And once they start to develop confidence, they look you in the eyes and they talk to you. And it's like, yes, there you are.
Yes.
I see you now, right?
Yes.
And that shit's important, man. And so I always say, jiu-jitsu mirrors life. And as you build someone on the mats that you have a better understanding of, it carries over into your business, into your relationships, into your fitness, every other aspect of life. And that's why it's a superpower.
As your daughters look back at the book, the rowing expedition, jiu-jitsu, you standing up for your belief system, what do you want that conversation to be with them in 20 years? Or what do you want them to grow from the foundation that you're laying today?
Well, I always say kids don't do what we say, they do what they see.
Amen. True.
Right? And again, like I said earlier, like I have had plenty of marital struggles. I've been the dad that had too short of a fuse, and I've been able to identify those things, right? And we're always trying to move towards becoming a better version of ourselves. But I think the biggest thing that I want my daughters to see is that I've just been on the path to trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like it goes back to, if you like who you see in the mirror, I think you're unstoppable.
Amen.
That's it. It's a very simple concept, but it's hard to get there for most of us. And here's the thing. You don't just arrive there as like, I like myself now. Hooray.
Yep. You got to build that guy.
And you might like yourself. You might go from 50-50 to 75-25. And maybe now you only don't like yourself 1% of the time, but it's an endless endeavor, right? Like there's never an arrival point. And again, that's jiu-jitsu. No one that does jiu-jitsu will ever tell you, I figured out jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There is no figuring it out. And so for my daughters to be part of the journey and witness it and see it, I talked to my oldest about it because she's an old soul. She's 16. Like, she's already seen a lot of growth in me in the last couple of years. Like, she can identify it. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for two reasons: to show them who they could be, or who they should be striving to be a better version of themselves. Yeah. But especially for our daughters, we are mirroring their future husbands.
100%.
That is who we are.
Bingo.
And so like that or not, if you show up with toxic energy, that's what's going to be normal in the household, and they will subconsciously seek that.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm very proud of how I've showed up as a father over the last couple of years, because I'm telling you, when I was a cop and I was stressed and I wasn't sleeping and the kids are bickering, and it's like, there was a period of time where like my fuse was so short. Yeah. It was a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let's talk about the book, Courage Through Adversity. You're best-selling author now. What?
No. I was number one. I was a number one release. I was one slot away from bestseller on Amazon.
Brother, hey, Mr.
We'll get there.
Hold on. Mr. Anderson, in my mind, you are a best-selling author. So tell me about the book. Tell me about what you wrote, what caused you to do this, and to put your thoughts and pen to paper.
So it's an interesting story. Do you know who Mike Glover is? Are you familiar? Yeah, you know who Mike Glover is. Yeah. So I was at Mike Glover's house in Utah. Yeah. We're sitting in his living room. His book Prepared was coming out. Yeah. And he looks at me and goes, "Greg, when's your book come out?" Like, and that's how he asked it too. Yeah. I said, "Mike, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. What book?" Yeah. He goes, "You don't have a book coming out?"
Yeah. What a close.
I said, "No." And he goes, "Man, dude, Greg, listen, the men that have lived powerful lives need to share our story with the next generation. There's a little boy out there that needs to hear your story." Yeah. And I was like, I shook his hand. I said, "Done. I'll write the book." Yeah. Not knowing, and there's always been a part of me that's like, I've done a lot of things. When I was younger, I had imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to write a book? Sure, why would I tell my story, right? Yes. But at 45 years old, I can confidently sit here and say, I'm proud of the life that I've lived, and I'm proud that I got to share it, right? Yeah. And so even though that's when Mike kind of put me on the spot and made me step into it, I think it was good timing too, because I was ready to share who I am. And so I said, okay, I'll write the book. So my message through the podcast for years has been all the stuff that we've been talking about: empowerment, fitness, because like fighting depression, bro. I fought depression for a long time. And I want people to know that, like, oh, well, that guy's just this black belt ranger. And he, you know, I was like, no. Like, those are things I did, but who I am, man, I've shared all the same struggles. I've been broke. I've been suicidal. Like, my life has not been just this awesome thing. It's been a roller coaster.
Like everyone's.
And like everyone's. And so I decided, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell all of that stuff, because the people that are struggling the most, they feel like they're alone.
Yes.
And it's like, I know what it's like to go park your car somewhere and put your Glock in your mouth. And it's like, just saying that like stings my heart now, right? But I've been in that place before. And I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. I want to tell the story of who I was. And so I broke the book into 2 parts very intentionally. I said, part 1 is my story. Because for me to give you any type of suggestions or wisdom or guidance, I think it's important for you to know who I am as a person. So part 1 is my story, and then part 2 is our story. And our story is, how do we as a people, as a society, become better?
Amen.
And I break that down in ways that I think is very consumable. And the overarching theme is just like, let's just get started. Don't set these ridiculous goals where, bro, I see this. I get guys that sign up at jiu-jitsu and they're like, you know what, man? Like, I think I'm going to start eating like this, and I'm going to start lifting, and I'm going to start reading, and I'm going to start this and this and this and this. And it's like, just slow down a little bit. Give yourself some grace.
Let's walk before we run.
Yes. And I try and just help people understand, like, these are the things that helped me through these different phases, be it getting in shape, be it working through depression, problems with my relationships, like problems with my profession, starting my business, like all these little things that so many other people are experiencing and going through. I just wanted to share that journey. And I can tell you now, the book's been out for like 6 weeks. I've gotten so much feedback where, well, one of the first things I hear from everyone is like, it's such an easy read. And there was a part of me that's like, is that a good thing? Right? Because everybody said, like, I read it in a day or 2. Right? And then one of my friends said, bro, if someone sat down with you and you had a conversation and they said, man, you're easy to talk to, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I was like,
that's a good
point taken.
Nailed it.
Point taken, right?
But
here's the thing. I'm not like, I understand who I am and my superpowers. I'm not the most intelligent person in the world. And I'm not saying that to be like self-deprecating, but like, I'm married to Jennifer Anderson, right? Like, I understand that human beings have different levels of intelligence. My superpower is not my intelligence. My superpower is my social awareness. I understand that. And my ability to build teams and interact with people. That's always been my superpower. And so I understand that this isn't going to be written like it was written from a college professor. It's written from me, an Army Ranger. My degree is in exercise physiology. You know what I mean? Which I never used, by the way, like another scam. But I felt like I was really able to capture who I am and what my message is to the world very effectively. And I can tell you, I'm very proud of the outcome. So.
Oh, it's amazing. And I'll be honest, I'm only about 2/3 of the way through it.
Okay.
And other people may have said it was easy to read. What I thought when I am reading it is, I get you. And I was like, and you get me.
Yes.
And I was like, and I think you just get humans.
We're connecting.
We're
connecting.
And so that was my feeling was more of the I get you.
Well, I want to say one thing on that, because, you know, over the last hour, I've kind of ranted about the government and they're stealing my money and this bullshit over here and all this, right? And while that is a truth, I think the way that we truly change the trajectory of our society is realizing, man, we don't all hate each other.
Amen.
It's fabricated. It's fabricated. I don't know anybody that's like, oh, I hate black people. Like, I don't know a person in my whole life But if you watch the media, it's racial tension, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's just one example of straights and gays, blacks and whites,
Yeah.
left versus right.
Bingo.
You take any group of people and they will orchestrate a way for us to hate each other.
Yeah.
And I think if we come to a realization as people that it's like, hey, you think differently than me, but we can still unify and be a people.
Yes.
And I think that's the government's biggest fear, because if they don't have the two sides of America that are constantly pitted against each other, I think
then we pay more attention to what the government's
they're
doing.
marionettes playing us
Yes.
against each other. And if the people, and it doesn't mean that I support your lifestyle or I think what you're doing is great. It doesn't have to mean that. It just simply means I'm going to live my life and I support you living your life.
Yeah.
That's the American dream. That's
Yes.
the American way. And if everybody could just come to a way where we actually live that standard,
Yeah.
the people at the top would not be able to be doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Greg, this has been invaluable. And let's leave the audience with one kind of final thought or operational directive. This interview, this conversation about, life and business and books and things like that has been really a case study in resilience, integrity, a little bit of humility, and like understanding, hey, we're all humans and we're pushing through this. When you think about the endless endeavor, your podcast, what's one truth in leadership or life that people need to understand that you want to leave them with that can, that holds the test of time, that keeps that integrity, that withstands the storm?
I think one of the things, like if I could leave a final message with everybody, is that every single person listening, you are a leader. In some capacity.
Yes.
A leader of yourself, a leader of your family, a leader at your job, and lean into that and understand that it's necessary for people to be competent leaders and really strive to help the circle that they are a part of. But here's the thing that gets left out very often. Equally to being a leader, you need to be a good follower too. And I think our society has put negative connotations on followers, right? Like they just do what they're told and they're just followers, right? No, I think where we win as a society is when we really lean into people's strengths and then you address your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so I always say leadership there's a fluidity to leadership. Step up and be the person that you need to be when you need to be, and then fall in and learn from other people. Let other people guide you and take on wisdom from other people. I've seen a lot of leaders, once they become this thing, they're very reluctant to take a backseat to other men.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no time in your life when you're going to be the most competent person in everything.
Never.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and I learned that from a good buddy of mine who was a Delta operator, and like we were deployed and he'd be like, hey, you've been here before, right? I've never been here before. Take point, lead this patrol because I know you're familiar with the terrain, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Step into your power, be the leader when you need to be.
Yeah.
But then celebrate other people's power and step into them when you need to do that for them too. Because if we don't do that, the tribe that you were a part of will never function to its optimal level. The best teams I've ever been a part of operationally, there was a fluidity of leadership. That doesn't mean there wasn't an official title. You're the shift leader. You're the team leader. Like on paper.
Yeah.
But man, when you lean into your strengths and then you lean into others for your weaknesses, and all the men or all the people in your circle are comfortable doing that, it becomes a superpower.
Listeners, subscribers, no one's coming to save you.
No one is coming to save you.
And
if you want a shirt that says that, go to theelectricnorth.com.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
where we sell it's our Jiu-Jitsu Academy website. It's where we sell all of our apparel and whatnot. And it's cool. It supports a good cause, and it just lets people know, like, I'm not on that team.
And we'll have links to all that in the show notes. I believe in Washington State, we're seeing a erosion in leadership in real time.
Yes.
Greg is telling us to be the leader, to be the follower, to be present, set the example. It also means that we shouldn't be surrendering our mindset or surrendering our rights, or surrendering our property. Build your integrity, start your endeavor. Greg, I'm very excited to watch you row across the Pacific. We'll put a link to that also in the show notes.
Awesome.
And thank you for not compromising and being who you are. We'll see you guys again next time.
Hey, thanks for having me, Anton. It was fun.